So yeah, again, we'll go through a few examples. And let's just go back. Study Unit 6. We we focused on normal distributions. In Study Unit 7, we bring in, that is still going to be Study Unit 6, but in Study Unit 7, we bring in sample. So suddenly, instead of just talking about a normal distribution, we're going to look at normal distribution for a sample. Okay, but first, I saw this question from a previous assignment. It was around study unit 6, but I thought let's just, and I'm actually going to just move, let's talk about it in this one. Then everybody else that looks at the video and the presentation can see it as well. So what we have here, what I just wanted to show you guys is about the notation. So consider standard normal distribution where the Z is normally distributed with a mean of 0 and the variance of 1. So that basically tells us that we're working with a normal standard deviation. And when they ask us, what is the probability that Z is smaller or equal to 0,06? So we can look just quickly at the table. 0, so they're asking us probability smaller or equal to 0,06, so it's just a bit bigger than 0. So we want to know what is that probability. Okay, so that already tells me at 0 we were working with 0.5. So this is just a bit bigger than 0.5. So let's just look at the option 0,52. Okay, it might be 0,47, not 50, might be 49, not 0.99, definitely not, because then it is somewhere here and smaller than that, so definitely not. So we're basically sitting with two options that we're dealing with. And yes, I can't from this know exactly which one. So we will go to our table. So let me just see if I've got, just want to see if it is this one. Before I show it onto, I must share, I'm gonna share this document that I actually, now that I open it, I found it, but this is actually, so while you guys are on it, it's a 2022 TAT letter, 2020, and remember 2020 was just before COVID times. So this is actually when all assignments was still paper-based. I'm going to share this with you guys in any case so that you can see some of the assignment questions. We can, yeah, I will share it with you and you can look at it. We can, if there's questions around it, we can always bring it into a discussion. So I will share this one on on the WhatsApp group tonight. But also part of this was the tables. So let's quickly see. We wanted to get Z smaller than 0.06. We go to a positive table, 0.06, sure. Okay, 0.5239. Wait, 0.5239. Okay, so just by looking at the table, but why I wanted to show this is I saw it in a previous one, and this notation, just if they give it to you in that form, that you know what to do. So what they can do is in a question that we work with, and I'll do it here, so that you guys can see how it could have been phrased. The emotional intelligence score of a grade 8 class is normally distributed with a mean of 80 and a standard deviation of 20. Okay, so that is how they could have given it to you in a notation format. Okay, so just to look at that component, if it was in a notation format, that is how it would have looked like. Okay, so just want to nearly show you that. So if in the exam they throw something in like this, you know what it will then look like. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the question. So when they tell us, oh, we're working with a random sample. So if we need to look at working out a Z, this would be then our formula. So a random sample of 36 grade 8 learners is selected. Let X be the EQ score of grade X class. It is further known that the probability that the mean of EX score is more than X, of a probability score is more than X is 0.8849. Okay, so what we want to work out is this X. Okay, so they tell us that if we look at this, the probability that the score is more than X is 0.8849. So let's just, on this side, 0.5. So it's more than that, it's 0.88. So somewhere here, we're going to have that whole area is 0.8849. Okay, so they want us to work out what that is. So let's just put in a few numbers before we go to the Z. So there it's 80. Standard deviation is 20 divided by the square root, that is 36, because that's a sample. So when you look at this, it tells us that the Z is going to be a negative Z. So if the Z is going to be negative, it means that this one here at the top needs to be negative. The only way that can be negative is if our x is going to be smaller than 80. Okay, so we're not working out a z yet. We're not just some things that we nearly can eliminate. So x is going to be less than 80. So let's look at options. Less than 80 possibility, less than 80, no. Less than 80, no. Less than 80. Okay, cool. So we've eliminated two options. So we know it can't be 88 or 86. So let's see. We want that area to be 0,8849. So we can maybe look at that, or we could have said, okay, the positive z would be the same. So we can look at the positive table, 0,8849, and then just whatever the z is, we're going to change it to negative. So let's look 0,8849 and hopefully 0,8849. So let's just quickly see. 8944. So 888849. Okay, there we have it. It's 1.20. Okay, so z then is minus 1.20. So let's then we can say, okay, well, z is minus 1.20. That is equal to x minus 80 divided by 20 divided by the square root of 36. So let's first work out what's underneath the division. So 20 divided by 6 to just make it a bit simpler. Oh, I don't have a great calculator now, but we will get it. So x minus 80 divided by, I get it as 3.33 continuous is equal to 1,2. So let's just need to multiply on both sides by 3.33. So 1.2 times 3.33 is 4. So I've got minus 4 is equal to x minus 80. If I take this over to that side, I basically add 80 on both sides. So 80 minus 4 is 76. And let's just see if I can change quickly this. And so 80 goes over to that side. So minus 4 plus 80 is 76 is equal to x. And so we're starting off with the more weird questions, where I normally end off with these, because we normally start off with the ones that follows the principle that we get a z, we go to the table, we get the probability. So this one, they've given us the probability. From the probability that they've given us, we work out a z, then we replace the z in the formula that we can work out the x. Okay, so the opposite of what we normally do. But a few things that I wanted to show, if they ask it in this weird format, you guys can now see how it's done, and I'll show this through all of them. And then just also that we see it's negative, and then if it's negative, there's a few options that one can already eliminate. Okay, so let's go into another one. Okay, so let's see what they tell us. Random sample of size 100. There's your sample mean. There's your population standard deviation. What is the standard error of the mean? Okay, so let's just write out the formula. And then also important, so this is the formula that we use, but this at the bottom, that is the standard error. Okay, so that is the standard error that we're looking at. So the only thing they want us to do with this one, they don't want a Z, they don't want a probability, they just want us to work out what is the standard error. So luckily in this one, they did not go further to give us other information. So they did not give us a X. Um, so sometimes they give you more information, what's needed, and then you go the whole way of working everything out. Yeah, simple standard deviation. Let's see what that is. It's 35 divided by the square root of your sample, and just make sure I nearly took the sample mean. Luckily, it's the same, 100. So we've got, in this instance, 35 divided by 10, which will give us 3.5. Okay, which is there. And so just again, already the sample mean wasn't needed. So just be careful that you don't nearly walk into a trap by having too much information. This one, just all they wanted was standard error. Standard error is basically the standard deviation divided by the square root of a sample. Okay, so, and what the standard error basically refers to is if this was not a sample, but a normal distribution of a population, then this standard error would have been your standard deviation. So it's just to basically the standard error eliminates the fluctuation in your data because of a sample. Okay, but you guys don't need to worry about that. Need to know what that means. All that you need to know is when we ask standard error, standard deviation divided by the square root of n. Okay, and they love to ask a question like this, but when they normally ask it, they will give you also an x value, just that you nearly want to go into the root of working out a z. Okay, so let's see in this one. Random sample of 120 is drawn from a normally distributed population. Great. With a mean of 160, standard deviation of 50. Again, determine standard error. Okay, standard error. We go straight to that. We now don't even need to go elsewhere. But again, standard deviation 50. And we work with the square root of sample, and the sample is 120. Okay, so once again, previous one, if I made a mistake by using the mean, it would not have mattered. But if I now use the mean instead of the sample, I will get a different answer. Okay, so my calculator can't do this, so I'm quickly just working it out on Excel. So 50 divided by the square root of 120 is 4,56. I just want to make sure that I get it to at least just, okay, so 4,56. Let's see, I just, we can turn out. Oh man, calculate it. Let me just, so all that I said is 50 divided by square root of 120. I got the 4,56. I just quickly want to see for interest sake. So there we have it. If I used the mean, if we get one of the answers. Okay, luckily not. Luckily they don't give it to you. So that at least is, but there's the 4,56. Let's just quickly check. If you read it wrong and didn't know what to do, standard error is the mean. If you used that, there's the answer. If you just said it's a standard deviation, there is an answer. If you said, luckily that divided by that would not give it, so I don't know how one would get to the others, but there is probably possibilities how to get to the others. Let's quickly, just for interest sake. So that we now knew didn't work. Let's say if you said 160 divided by, also not. Okay, so don't know how I got to the others, but just again, standard error that we need to work out, and with that we can get to that answer. Now, very similar type of question, but let's see. Normal distributed population with a mean of 190, standard deviation of 120, sample size is 50. What is the probability? Okay, now we get to probabilities again, that the sample mean is between 150 and 190. Okay, so we need to work out what is the probability that, and let's just say we might need to change how it looks on this, but we need to, for now, say we need to check whether x's are 150 and 190. It might change as we work out the z's. It might change, but basically this is something that we now need to work out. Okay, so we first need to get a z for the 150, then a z for the 190, and then with the two z's, we will get for each one the probability, and then we'll decide if we subtract or how we're going to work it out. So let's first work with z is equal to 150, and what I'm going to do is let's just not delete. But let's just move this up so that we can work out what is the z when x is 150. Okay, so we see that is going to be a negative. So it will be somewhere on this side. So that at least is fine. So standard deviation of 120 divided by sample of 50. Okay, so that is going to be, yeah, so happy with that one. Whatever our answer is will be there. Other Z that we work with is 190. So 190, minus 190. Okay, so we can quickly do this, but what this will end up, 190 minus 190 is 0, so we will end up with 0. So this 190 is not going to be there. It is going to be exactly on the 0 mark. So this is the area that we need to work out. So whatever this Z is going to be the determinant of what we're going to get. So let's see, 150 minus 190 is minus 40. And then, again, don't have my nice calculator. So 120 divided by the square root of 50, okay, 16.97. So if we say minus 40 divided by that, we get minus 2,36. Okay, let's just again round that off. Minus 2,36. So here it's minus 2,36. Okay, so we can now go in two ways how to work this out. We can go to the negative table, minus 2,36. We'll get this area, and we will say, well, 0.5 minus the red, and that will give us our blue area. Okay, so that will give us this area that we're looking for. So let's go and look at minus 2,36. Okay, so it's not this table. It's going up, minus 2,36. So let's just see. Minus 2,3. There's 2,3. I just want to let's delete that. 2,3, 2,3, 2,36. 0,0091. So this area is 0,0091. Look at that. There is an option, but it's not that. We need to subtract it. So again, easy in the exam to make that mistake, because you see it, you see an answer, you're like, okay, cool, I've got it, but you still need to do one more calculation, and that is to actually subtract that from 0.5, and then our answer is 0,4909, which is option C. Okay, so again, you can see if we set 0.5 plus 0,4909, there is an answer. Again, don't know how that would have been calculated. But yeah, again, if you just not do it fully, there might be some answers for you. Um, as in your assignments, if you work this out, you pick this 0.0091, you might get a half or 1 mark. So it's not going to be 0 or 5 or 4 marks. You will be able to get a mark or two, even though you're wrong, because you got that component at least right. So that's also, and I'm going to ask the lecturer tonight again how the exam is structured, but normally previous years you complete question one, then you go to question two. You can't go back to question one. So I will just find out if if a, the exam is like that again, and then I would let you guys know. But never ever in the exam not answer a question. Um, then you rather guess, because you might, even if you get it wrong, you might even get a point. So never ever just skip a question because you can't do it. Rather than guess a, an answer. They don't mark negative or anything like that. Okay, so this one was, we needed to work out a z. In this instance, we needed to work out two z's to get to what we needed. Um, Let me just quickly write this out. Sorry, I did not now write all. So here, two z's, and you needed to get the middle piece of it. Okay, so let's see what else. I already now see calculate standard error. Cool. Okay, so let's look at what they say. Most of the schools reported a decline in the number of absences following this. In a sample of 90 schools, 72 schools reported a decline. Okay, 72 schools of the 90 schools reported a decline. Okay, so this tells me already we're working with a proportion. So let's see, calculate the standard error of the proportion. Okay, I don't always remember the proportion formula, so let's just quickly gonna open study guide, see where it opens, and then let's just go to study unit 7. Okay, and let's see where's the one for proportion. We will just add that. It is. Okay. Okay, so let's see. We're working now with the standard error of proportion. So that component where, again, underneath the division, that is our standard error. Okay, so here we're working with I1 minus that divided by n, and always remember the square root. Okay, so let's first see what is 72 divided by 90. I really don't like to work um, with fractions in a formula like this. So let's quickly 72 divided by 90. Okay, I get that is 0.8. Okay, so we've got 0.8 times 1 minus 0.8 is 0.2. Check there, 0.2. Already we know not what we wanted. Then the sample is 90, so we can add the 90 there, and then the square root of that. Okay, so 0.2 times 0.8 is 0.16. That divided by 90 is 0.001. So let again, sorry, my calculator definitely, or my cell phone calculator can definitely not do this. So 0.8 times 0.2, that divided by 90 gave us that, and the square root of that gives us the 0.04216. Again, let's round it off. 0.042, 0.042, and there we have the 0.042. So the first standard error was with the sample mean. The second standard error that you need to know how to work out is with the proportion. Okay, so very important also when you do it, understand sample error of mean, then you can get a Z with a mean, but you need to work out um, the probability. And then when we work with proportions, there again, standard error of a proportion, and then the next logical question nearly around that is to say, well, now we need to work out the probability given certain proportion. So let's see if that is what we need to do. Consider a population proportion and a sample proportion. Given a sample size of that, calculate the value of a t-stat. Okay, so we need to get to the z. Okay, so let's quickly do this. Okay, so now very important. Which one is proportion, or sorry, population, and which one is the sample? Okay, so luckily there wasn't a negative value in here. So that tells me that, okay, the proportion sample is 0.75. So make sure that you know that that is the sample, and that is for the population. And just if it is other way around and something creeps in that it is negative, that's 0.66. And then we need to look at the bottom, so 0.66. 1 minus 0.66, what is that, 0.34. So again, something like this, I am going to use just and a sample size of 99. I am going to use quickly Excel again because my cell phone calculator can't do that. Sorry. Okay, so what we have is 0.75 minus 0.66. Then we have 0.66 times 0.34. That is divided by 99. That's the square root of it. So we've got that divided by that one. So, and we probably will again round it off to 2 decimals. So 1,89. So let's see, hopefully 1,89 is somewhere here. Yes, 1,89. Okay, so no easy way here to have eliminated anything. If there was a negative, yes, then I can eliminate a negative, but you need to follow the process of using this formula then to get the Z. Okay, interesting. We don't see a lot of questions where you only need to work out the Z. Okay, so this one was now and that's why I included it, because they gave you these things in words. And that's why I thought, let me include it, just because it might sometimes catch you out. Because one is so, again, looking at it, one can easily just say, okay, 0.66 minus 0.75, because that's the way it's structured, but actually to the other way around. So just be, again, more careful around how they phrase the questions as well. And I think that's why I am showing all these weird ones in between for you guys as well, that we're not caught off guard in the exam. Okay, the last one for tonight. So let's look again. Previous studies have shown 71% of schools have reported a decline. Suppose a sample of 99 schools is drawn at random. What's the probability that at least 80% of schools have reported a decline? Okay, so let's first write it out. So Z is, and before I write it out, I'm just gonna do this. Okay, and first let's see, why did I choose proportions and not mean? So nowhere in this question did they say I'm working with a mean. Okay, so let's quickly go back to this one. So normally distribution with a mean of, if we look at last or in the week, normally distributed with a mean of. Now we get in this one, they don't tell us proportion, but they did not say to us we're working with a mean. Okay, so here they tell us how many schools. Okay, so proportion is a percentage of. How many schools at least? So again, we get the percentage of. So previous studies have shown that 71% of schools, so that means that one is the population. Okay, because all previous studies have shown, so that is the population that we're looking at. So population we know is this one. And then they tell us, okay, suppose you're working with a sample, what is the probability that at least 80%? Okay, so let's write it first. At least, okay, at least again, is it more than? No. Is it less than? So what is it? So at least it means if it's at least 80, it must be 80 or more. 0.8 minus, what was it, 0.71. And then, now we need, and this again, we'll need to, there's just no ways with these weird numbers. One can really work it out without a decent calculator. Okay, so let's just see what the Z is. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So that is going to be positive. So just first, let's just do that. So that is going to be positive, 0.8 minus 0.71. So it means that it's going to lie somewhere here and it's going to be bigger than. Okay, so I know already without looking at or working out anything yet, this is going to be smaller than 0.5 because it's a part of the 0.5. So not A, not B, maybe C, not D, maybe E. Okay, so at least just by looking at this, I have eliminated three options. Okay, so we haven't done anything further yet, but three options is gone. Okay, so let's work this out again. So 0.8 minus 0.71. Okay, so that is at the top 0.09. Let's just, and then whatever is underneath. So let's just again, so we've got 0.71 times 0.29, and that divided by 99. So at the bottom, we've got 0.00208. So let's just 0.00208. Then if we square root that, we get 0.046. And if we then work it out, we get 1.97. Okay, so your probability is here going to be 1.97 the Z. So Z bigger than 1.97. I hope I worked it out correctly. So let's go and see. So I can go to, let me just quickly, I'm worried that, okay, let's first go to, what did we say? 1.97. Okay, so we can go positive 1.97. So 0.9756. but then it is this area, 0.9756. So look at where it is, but we need to say 1 minus that to get the smaller area. So 1 minus 0.9756 is equal to 0.0244, which is what we're looking for. So that's for one way, or we could have said, I remember from which study unit, because we're looking at this area, symmetry will give me that it's the same at that side. So if I look at something that's smaller than 1,97 or minus 1,9, sorry, minus 1,97, we'll get the same. So go to the negative, minus 1,97. You see, we also get 0.0244, which we're happy with. Okay, so once again, seeing that from what we did on Tuesday and what we did last week, nearly again just builds up. Looking at in Tuesday, we looked at just if you have the normal distribution. So if we looked at just the normal distribution, we looked at this formula of Z is equal to the x minus the mean divided by standard deviation. Then we said, okay, but that's for the normal distribution. But then if we bring in the sampling, the only part that is now a bit different is instead of dividing it by the standard deviation, we're now dividing it by the standard error. And then the extra thing in this study unit is this is all good and well and fine when we're looking at the mean, but they brought in a bit more, and that is to say, okay, but we can also work with proportions. So if we get, and you can nearly see this proportion is a bit like binomial, but it's not 100%. But basically what proportions mean again is there will be a number of schools in this instance that are part of it, and then there's a number of schools that are not part of it. That's why we nearly bring in this pi that you would have seen in all our binomial tables, because binomial is basically something happens or not, but this is on a big scale, that you're looking at a much bigger sampling. So that's why we talk about nearly, it looks like a normal distribution because how big it is, but proportion basically tells you, is it happening? Is it not? So 72 schools here out of a 90 did, and then we compare it to what nearly is happening in the rest of the population of schools. Once again, as in the mean, we get a standard error for proportion as well, and that again is what is below the line. So whatever is below the line, that is your standard error. So standard error of mean, it was standard deviation divided by the square root of n. Standard error of a proportion is this component that we're using. Okay, so that is it for tonight. So next week on Tuesday, we will now take again this and add confidence intervals. So we'll look at the mean with confidence intervals. We look at the proportion with confidence intervals. So that will be study unit 8 again. So just nearly taking then study unit 7 just that bit further again, like we did way earlier in the year. So next week, Tuesday, we will focus on study unit 8 and just again then focus on confidence intervals, and then there we have a few confidence intervals that we will look at. Okay, that is it for tonight, everyone. Um, yeah, hope this is again that this is helping, that as we build it onwards towards your exam date,